Would you say that that it's the larger organizations or the smaller organizations that are more that are more willing to adopt this passwordless approach? Because I think perhaps from my experience is actually some of the largest companies are some of the ones that are hardest to change and hardest to shift.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys see this all the time in your own work. The larger companies have, just a mishmash of architecture. Some of them are sitting on tape drives, so like passwords are like the last things you need to worry about, they think.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you can start implementing passwordless, bit by bit, incrementally, even if you have, a bunch of, different parts inside the organization. You should look at, well, where should I start protecting users? So maybe it's implementing some sort of privileged access management and taking away passwords from everyone who's not part of that. Or maybe it's, looking at your remote, a segment of your remote workforce and giving them security keys and enabling them to log in with added devices rather than using passwords. So I think it's possible for anyone to move forward. Additionally, we're seeing more and more cloud services, cloud enterprise services support FIDO authentication. So whether that's things like Azure AD, AWS, a lot of the core infrastructure now that is, sitting on clouds allows administrators and their organizations to leverage FIDO instead of passwords.
And what do you think? What do you think really needs to happen next to really make this faster? Like, what's stopping it? Everybody doing it tomorrow, and what is it that we need to happen next to make this a reality?
Well, I think it is happening. So I referenced Microsoft, for example. And Microsoft, again, for consumers, Microsoft accounts are now available to go password free. And Amazon, what they're doing with AWS, they announced the other week that any Amazon Web Services admin will get the FIDO security key to protect the actual admin console. So I think you're seeing, service providers step up in lockstep with the platforms now supporting this. A couple big things are around the corner, one being platform support, right? So this functionality is already built into devices, but we're seeing new kind of usability steps being conceived by the core platform stakeholders in FIDO Alliance, Apple, Google, and Microsoft, that will make account recovery easier as well. So that's really the biggest challenge for possession-based authentication is what happens if you lose possession of your device. How do you have to re-enroll and everything? That's a non-starter, especially for consumers.
Right. Yeah.
And enterprise is less of an issue, but for consumers, that's an issue. And we're seeing steps from, again, those three companies to make that a little bit easier. Another key thing that's happening is we're seeing a fair amount of government regulation around this and government guidance, at least here in the U.S. The White House and CISA and the Office of Management Budget are all mandating that government agencies and their suppliers all move to forms of possession-based authentication. And oftentimes when that happens, it drives regulated industry to follow suit. Then you'll see, banks and telcos and insurance and such start following suit. So I think, piece by piece, what we're really trying to do here is fundamentally change the DNA of the web itself. Because passwords are part of that DNA. We need to be the mRNA, if you will, of the web and change the way people authenticate. And it takes all these things to happen. And the good news is, again, I think we are making good progress there.